Alright everybody, welcome to this week's Power Rankings. Sorry for the late Power Rankings this week. I got real busy, and I was hoping Colin would be here to film them with me, but he's hanging out with Johnstown friends or some shit, so he couldn't come do it. Which sucks, because I had Godzilla and NHL 15. We were going to have a good time, but hey, whatever. So let's start the Power Rankings. At number 10, we have Jeff. I mean, his team is pretty pathetic this week. I mean, it's not a strong team. He benched Brandon Marshall due to the late game. He caught 3 touchdown passes. Jamal Charles played 3 snaps and then got hurt. I mean, there's not a lot on this team to like. He's starting Zach Stacy, who I still don't believe in. Sean Jackson got hurt. He's definitely probably going to consistently be at the bottom, and judging by the poll, most people agree he may end up being our Sacco. Alright, number 9, we have myself. I'm officially the loser of the week. I mean, I ranked myself number 5 last week. I put myself above a team with a win. And I followed that up with a terrible performance where my team scored like 57 points. AP with this goddamn child abuse. I mean, all he did was really hit his kid. I mean, is it a huge big deal? I mean, his kid was probably being a bitch. Plus, if your dad makes millions of dollars but wants to hit you with a stick once in a while, like, to me that seems like a fair trade-off. I mean, that's just my 2 cents. AJ Green played 1 snap and then hurt his toe, so I got 0 points from him. The last minute, I decided I should play Brandon Cooks instead of Matt Asiata. Not that it would have helped my team, but it would at least made it a little less embarrassing. Thank God for Randall Cobb. Otherwise, I might have broken records for worse points. I mean, I'm still waiting on a records update. It's week 2 and it's Thursday. I don't know what happened to our record keeper, but he should probably get on that shit. Alright, next up we got RJ at number 8. His team is not that strong with the exception of Peyton Manning, DeMarco Murray. I don't really agree with his Fred Jackson for Julian Edelman trade. It definitely wasn't really a strong suit. I mean, he started Donnie Avery this week. I mean, I'm not sure where that idea came from. I mean, good call picking up Brian Quick. I think he could actually end up being a decent wide receiver. But Fred Jackson's never going to be a strong number 2. Terrence West keeps running the way he is. Ben Tate will never be a number 2. He may literally never have a number 2 running back. But I did like his pickup of Bobby Rainey late. I think Doug Martin is definitely underperforming and Rainey looks solid. Alright, number 7, we got Holby, and congratulations to Holby for finally changing his team name. I mean, it only took 2 weeks, but hey, at least he actually did it. Another league I'm in, I'm still waiting for some jackass to change his name. He seems to think it's acceptable to have the same name as last year, because it's funny, but whatever. His team's actually a lot better than it played. Eddie Lacy really needs to up his game, otherwise there's never going to be anything from that. I mean, you don't want to have bad production from your number 1 wideout. He played Michael Floyd despite Carson Palmer not playing. I didn't really like that decision because Drew Stan's obviously never going to be the kind of player. And that reach for the Seahawks defense he did in the draft got him a whopping 0 points. So you can't really be happy with that, but I think Holby does definitely jump up the ranks here soon. He had a 104-point performance. I would have beaten a decent amount of people in the league, including everybody below him. Alright, number 6, we have my least favorite person in the league, and that's Conway. Mainly because he's not here doing these power rankings with me. Well, Conway's team, I mean, I gave it a lot of credit last week. I bumped it up to number 3. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. Chris Johnson proved why he wasn't worth that second overall pick, scoring a whopping 2 points. Hold on 1 second. Marshawn Lynch obviously isn't going to go off for 20-plus points like he did week 1. Roddy White, I don't ever trust him. He's hurt this week. Julio Jones is obviously the thing there. I do think Matt Ryan obviously has a bounce back. Otherwise, I wouldn't have traded for him. Julian Edelman, though, for Fred Jackson. That's a brilliant move. I don't know if you proposed that trade or if he proposed it to you. But if you proposed and he accepted, congratulations. That was an awesome idea. Vernon Davis got hurt. That could hurt you. There's not a lot of tight ends on the free market, especially with Delaney Walker already scooped up. You probably should have scooped up Niles Paul. I don't think you picked up anybody. And Reggie Bush, I obviously don't like Reggie Bush either. So really, the only thing I give you credit for in your first round, in your first 4 picks, is trading Fred Jackson for Julian Edelman. That was a good call. That was a good call. All right, at number 5, we have our, definitely our jump of the week. It's Justin. He was at number 10 last week, jumps up to 5th. That's pretty good. He was also playing the worst team in our league, but he still put up 115 points, which is respectable. RG3 just went down, so that drafting of Nick Foles really seems like the right decision. Sean and Arian Foster could be 2 of the strongest backs in the league right now, so at least you got that going for you. Your wide receivers are still weak. I mean, you benched Victor Cruz this week and played Reggie Wayne, and he got you 2. I mean, there's no one in your wideout core who I incredibly like, and Mark Ingram just went down for a month, who was your strong flex consideration, and I don't like Doug Martin in Tampa Bay. You want to stay in my top 5, Justin. You're going to need to figure out something with that flex, and you might want to consider trading for a wide receiver soon. Now, I put Grusko at number 5 last week below me, despite him having won his first game and me losing mine. He kind of proved me wrong with a big 127-point performance. He comes in at number 4 now. That's a huge jump for him, and I'm sure he's happy to see that now that he's actually 2-0. He is my worst 2-0 team, though, despite the big game, because I still don't trust Frank Gore. I still think Carlos Hyde eventually takes that job. Demaryius Thomas had a nice comeback. Finally started catching some balls. Obviously, as a Broncos fan, that's pretty big for me. Jordy Nelson is still one of my favorite wide receivers this year, and I really thought I was going to be grabbing him a little bit later than where you took him. I think he's going to consistently put up huge numbers like that. I still don't like Vincent Jackson as a wide receiver. Josh McCown doesn't seem to know how to throw the ball. I mean, I have Mike Evans in a couple leagues, and it's rough watching McCown rush for touchdowns. That Tampa Bay Bucs offense is just, I mean, you don't want anybody in it. Number 3, we have Jed. Jed, I'm not a huge fan of your team. You're 2-0. You're in a weak division. You could easily win this division, and I wouldn't be surprised. A-Rod, I tried as hard as I could to get you to trade me on A-Rod. It obviously didn't work. I had to settle for Matt Ryan, but thanks for that either way. I don't trust Chris Ivory. I know he scored a touchdown back-to-back weeks, but one of these weeks he's not going to score a touchdown. And when he doesn't score a touchdown, he's going to put up like 2 to 3 points, and that could cost you a loss. Dez had a huge bounce-back game. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone doubted Dez. Julius Thomas can't catch 100 yards and 3 touchdowns a week, but he can probably catch a touchdown every week. So you got that going for you. So Jeremy Maclin may be your most surprising player, though. I didn't really like him this year, but Nick Foles seems to already have quite a connection with him. I don't trust Pierre Garçon, but you just got Kerry Robinson off of me, so that should give you a solid starter for at least a month. And if you run strong, you could have a starter all year. Skyler, I was even considering last week putting you at number 1. And this week, if you would have had a big game, I think I would have upped you to number 1 because I really like your team. But that 91 performance against Conway just wasn't enough to dethrone Zach. But I think you keep working towards it. You could end up in the number 1 spot. I hate Toby Gerhart. I mean, you need to find another running back. You cannot consistently play Toby Gerhart. But Stafford's been fantastic. Le'Veon Bell's been fantastic. Obviously, you have Calvin Johnson. I'm a big fan of Percy. I don't really know what happened last week. He had that 51-yard run, and they kind of stopped giving him the ball. Delanie Walker, though, that's really got to be the surprising tight end right here. I mean, you drafted Antonio Gates, who actually scored more points than Delanie Walker did this week, but picking up Delanie Walker, you can't be mad that you dropped Antonio Gates. And Wes Walker's coming back. It could hurt your flex with Sanders, but you still have T.Y. Hilton and Marquise Colston, and you used to have Mike Wallace. Thank you for that, by the way. I'm glad I don't have to deal with AP anymore. And if he does come back for you, that's fantastic, and I hope we don't meet in the championship. Oh, and would you please make an update for the records? I'm really curious what's happened the first couple weeks. I'm just curious what's going on. Like, has there been any new records? Let's get those up at least maybe by week 3. And at number 1, once again, we have Zach's team. Zach's team didn't obviously explode this week. He only put up 106, but he's 2-0. He was number 1 in the previous 2 rankings. Obviously, I'm not going to bump him because he only scored 106 points. I still like your team. Matt Forte didn't really show up in that Bears game, but they went down and they were forced to throw. And I mean, when Brandon Marshall catches 3 touchdowns, how the hell can you expect Forte to score a touchdown? I still love Antonio Brown. Jimmy Graham proved he's still Jimmy Graham. Your team's pretty good. Kendall Wright, I don't know what's going on with that Titans. It's like they were all really hot, and then it was only Delaney Walker, so that could backfire on you in the end. I mean, I think it'll be a good season for you, but watch out for Scott to dethrone you if he has a huge week this week. Now, I know these things were a little bit faster than they usually are, than they were last week. Obviously, I'm not feeling good. You can hear it in my voice. I've been sick all week. And I was really expecting Conway to be here, so I didn't really give myself a lot of time to prepare for this. So a lot of this was quick research. I know I said last week that this week would really be the week that things were more exciting in the power rankings, but obviously we're going to push it back a week. Hopefully me and Colin can get together sometime next week and actually get some real ones done, and I can do something exciting, maybe some Jackass of the Week segments, maybe like a highlight player of the week, you know, just something to add a little bit of insult. I know this one was pretty nice, but stay patient with me, and in a couple weeks, I promise, these things will only get better. And that's it, boys. Good luck this week to everybody, except for Conway, not just because you didn't do the power rankings, but because we're playing each other. I hope you lose, and I kind of hope you choke in a dog. Peace out, boys.